Hey, what's going on YouTube? Aaron here, and I wanted to discuss our third party option for the presidency. Now, as you all have seen in my videos, I went from Team O'Malley, like when he was running, Governor O'Malley for president, I was like, yes, him. And then he dropped out of the race, and I was like, darn it. And then I was like, Team Hillary. And I actually voted for Hillary in the primaries. But then I sort of shifted to Bernie. And I was like, yeah, Team Bernie. Before he dropped out of the race, I started having this change. I heard about the option of a third party. And I started looking into him. Initially, I was just thinking it was him, Gary Johnson. And I actually really like him. I do. And I agree with what he has to say. It makes a whole lot of sense. And then I was watching, this is going to sound so frivolous in comparison, but I was watching The Breakfast Club, and they interviewed my pretend husband outside of like my real husband. But my pretend husband in my mind, Mark Lamont Hill, he is so friggin' beautiful. Oh my. And he mentioned how his vote is with Jill Stein. And I was like, well, let me look her up. And I really do like her. And I think I'm switching from a Gary Johnson to a Jill Stein. But I will say this, I've gotten into very, I don't want to say heated debates, but a very deep discussion with and I kind of wish he would come on and do another podcast with my buddy Larry about the vote. And he's like, well, if you're voting third party, you're just throwing away your vote. Now, when people vote, are we voting just so we can say that we voted for the winner? Or are we voting for people who align with our political ideology? That's my thing. Because technically, because he's like, well, you're just throwing away your vote. You're throwing away your vote if you vote for a third party candidate. That's why I'm voting for Hillary. A third party. Like, I'm not going to lie. I remember in '92, my grandmother voted for Ross Perot, so people vote third party. But I'm also not going to lie, I remember there was a third party candidate shortly after my mom moved up to DC when I lived in DC, of course, before she passed away. My mom really got into the campaign for this guy who was running, I think he was running for president. And she was really into it. She was getting his mailers and stuff, and she was going to pass him out and talk to people about him. And then when she found out that he was a third party candidate, she was like, oh, I'm not going to waste my time with a third party candidate. That's a wasted vote. So that's sort of been my philosophy as well. I mean, my mom, of course, very smart. I think it's just interesting how people will say it's a wasted vote if you don't vote for the winner. That's basically what it's saying when it comes down to. If you don't vote for the winner, you've wasted your vote. What do y'all think? I do want to say I'm on the fence. I'm not 100% sure where I'm going to vote. I'm not going to lie. I love Jill Stein. And oh my gosh. I'm sorry. I do. She's so cool. And then when Mark Lamont Hill endorsed her, I was like, oh my gosh, yes. Like she says, if millennials turn out and vote for her, which I do like. I'm not going to lie. But I also like her views on other political topics. What do y'all think? Let me know. Talk to y'all later, YouTube. Peace. Be blessed.